Here we have a piston cylinder assembly containing 1.5 kg of water to 200 kilopascal and 150 degrees centigrade. It is heated in a process where the pressure is linearly related with the volume. So pressure has a linear dependency on volume. So we can A plus BV. So it is linearly related to the volume. Now, since it is linear, so we know that it must be a straight line, and the area under the straight line can be calculated uh, by, by either integrating or by geometrically solving the this problem and finding the area under the curve. That is our trapezoid, and the area of trapezoid is equal to half of base into perpendicular. So if this is the base. Is that is V2 minus V1, and this is the half of the base into longer side of the trapezoid. So this is the longer side of the parallel lines, parallel vertices. So this is equal to, this is V1 plus V2. So yeah, we can also evaluate the area of triangle, and then add it into the area of this rectangle, and then the value of the work will be the same. So the final stage is 600 kilopascal and 350 degrees centigrade. We using the information of initial pressure and initial volume, we can find the value of volumes and internal energy from the thermodynamic tables, and similarly for the final state. We will come to know that both states are superheated states, as we can see over here. Both the states are superheated, so we can easily find the initial and final volumes and the initial and final internal energies. Then we can use this work energy principle to find the amount of heat to conduct this process. Now, a question is, if 100-liter tank contains nitrogen at 900 Kelvin and 3 megapascal. The tank is now cooled so that now its final temperature is 100 Kelvin. What are the work and heat transfer for this process? We know that the rigid tank and the mass cannot cross the boundary, so initial mass will be the final mass. That will not change during this process. Now, we go to thermodynamic tables and we find our initial volume using the formation of temperature and pressure at the first stage. We and so similarly we can find the internal energies as well from the table. Now the second state is 100 kilopascal, and the volume, initial volume, is same as the final volume because it is a rigid tank. There will be no change in volume, so there will be no work, and only the amount of energy is whatever we provide. How much greater the amount of energy we provide to the system, the higher will be the difference of internal energy. So all of the energy we provide to the system is used to raise or decrease the internal energy of our system, of our nitrogen gas. If we input energy, the internal energy will raise up, and if we draw energy out of the system, then the internal energy will be the one that is providing energy to be drawn out of the system. So uh, we use our information and practice what we have done in the previous slides to similarly to proceed up to the result. So there's no difference, except there's one interpolation at P2 for second stage. When we compare the initial volume V1 and final temperature, and we get to know that now what's the temperature, then we have to interpolate for the pressure. That's the only difference between this and previous questions. Now the question is, ammonia of a half a kg is in a piston cylinder assembly at 200 kilopascal and minus 10 degrees centigrade. Is heated in a process and the pressure varies linearly with the volume, and so it's again the same as we have discussed in a slide previous to the last one, with the volume of states at 50 degrees centigrade and 300 kilopascal. This is the final state and this is the initial state. Find the work and heat transfer. It is quite similar to the problem, so you can explore and you can look at the previous slides, and you can solve it very easily. There's no problem. We will discuss, if there's no problem, we will discuss in a synchronized mode. We will be discussing it in online session, and you will have no problem. Now, a rigid steel tank contains 1 kg of ammonia. A rigid 1 kg steel tank holds 0.7 kg of ammonia at 70 degrees centigrade in the form of saturated vapors. And the tank is now cooled to 20 degrees centigrade by transfer to ambience, which two properties determine the final states, determine the amount of work and the heat transfer. So it's rigid, so there will be no work, and all of the energies drawn out of the system will be provided by the internal energies of the gas. So internal energy will be lowering down during this process, and it's a constant volume process, and we can find the work that will be zero, so there will be no work because it's rigid. So only the heat energy drawn out of the system will be responsible to change in internal energy, as we can see over here. So using the information of saturated vapor at 70 degrees centigrade, we go to the 70 degrees centigrade for in saturated tables for the ammonia, and we note down the Vg, and Vg is the one that is specific volume of the system at current state. Similarly, Ug will be the Ug written in front of 70 degrees centigrade in saturated ammonia table will be our internal energy as state 1. This is because it is saturated vapors. We know it is saturated vapors. So if it is saturated vapors, it will occupy the volume of saturated vapors, and it will possess the energy possessed by the saturated vapors mentioned in the table. So the energies and volume will be the same as written in the form of Ug and Vg in thermodynamic table for the first case. Now, because the heat is down, now we run out, we know that it will decrease the internal energy, and the system will move toward the mixed phase. And now at the first phase we will find the volume, and it will remain the same as the second volume. Volume is the same because it is rigid container, and we can find, therefore we can find value of x, value of x from the information provided in thermodynamic table for the second state at 20 degrees centigrade, and occupying the same volume as of state 1, this volume. We will find the x, and correspondingly we will find the internal energies. We will then use this work energy principle to find the change in internal energy or change in the heat during this process. What is a 150 liter closed rigid tank as 100 degrees centigrade and 90% quality. The tank is then cooled to minus 10 degrees centigrade. Calculate the heat transfer. It will quite similar to the previous problem, and the only difference is we knew that the first stage was saturated vapor in the previous question. However, we have quality of x point 0.9 in this case. Therefore, we will use this information to find the initial volume. The initial volume will be the same as the final volume, and we can compare the volumes at minus 10 degrees centigrade and find the quality, and then we will proceed with this problem. I hope that there will be no difficulty in solving this problem, because we have been through a lot of example questions in this set of slides. So if there is a problem, we will discuss in the synchronized mode over online lectures. So now we have a problem in which we have a piston cylinder assembly, and that is with two different domains. The one is this piston cylinder assembly, and there is this insulated piston. So heat cannot move across this piston. So there's water above this piston, and there's water also contained inside this piston cylinder chamber. Now, initially it is 20 degrees centigrade, and the above water is 10 meter high. It is 10-meter high open cylinder. Okay, so now heat is added to the system. Heat is added to the system beneath this using any type of burner, and it will increase the temperature of water in this zone. It will increase the temperature of water. Thus, slowly it will move toward the uh, boiling process, and during the boiling, the vapor will generate, and this piston will move upward. It will move upward, and this water will overflow, and gradually this amount of water above the piston will be decreasing. So in thermodynamic properties, the pressure over the piston will be decreasing because of lowering in the amount of water above it. So it will be pushing relatively less to downward, and this will gradually decrease the pressure on the piston because of decreasing in hydrostatic pressure. So, as we know that hydrostatic pressure is linearly related with the pressure, and hydrostatic pressure is linearly related with the height of this height, and since it is linearly related with the height, so the pressure will linearly change as shown in this figure from 1 to 2. If I like, so 1 to 2, pressure will linearly change. So all of this, the aim of this story is that you make an understanding that pressure is linearly changing with the volume. Now you have to introduce a volume in term of height, and in a height and this cross-sectional area, and you will have to use this information for knowing that how much the pressure was there at the initial state, and how much the pressure will be there on the final state, and this will help you out during this solving this process. The rest is same, and you will be easily going through this process. I don't see any difficulty, and you will have to just consider all of the information that we have studied for hydrostatic process in the on-campus classes, hydrostatic pressure on the on-campus classes. Yeah, so if you have any further difficulty, we will discuss in the synchronous mode over the online lectures. Now we have a rigid vessel that contains 0.5 kg of refrigerant 410A at 0 degree centigrade with a specific volume of 0.01 meter cube per kg. Now this system is heated to a room temperature of 25 degrees centigrade. Find the final pressure and process heat transfer. The heat transfer that is required to conduct this process. Now again we will combine the 0 degree centigrade and 0.01 meter cube per kg specific volume, and we look for the thermodynamic properties. We compare our this 0.01 meter cube per kg volume with the Vf, Vfg and Vg in the saturated tables for R41A 410A. We will find that this volume is less than Vg at 0 degree centigrade and greater than Vf. Now we have a confirmation that the system at the present state is in the form of saturation, and we will find the value of x. Why we will find the value of x? Because we will use it to find the internal energy at the present state, and this is done in these two steps. Now at the next stage, since it is rigid, so the volume this volume gonna be same for next case for next state, and only the temperature will be changed. Now what we have done, that we have compared this volume with the Vf, Vfg and Vg of 25 degrees centigrade. We found that this volume is less than Vg and Vf at 25 degrees centigrade. Therefore, still the system is in saturated form or mixed form. So again we will find the value of x for the present state, and we will find that now the percentage of the vapors has been increased from 0.2875 to 0.63775, 63.77%. Now the vapors are 63.77% of total mass at the second stage. Again we will utilize it to find the value of Q, or find the value of internal energy U2 at the second stage, and we will use this work energy principle to find our heat transfer that is required to conduct this process. We will come to know that nearly 43.3 kilojoules of energy is required to conduct this process. Next, the previous problem, and we have solved to consider 2 kg of steel tank with the same temperatures as is done in the last slide. Rigid steel contains 0.5 kg of refrigerant at 0 degrees. Now it has been converted to the next state, that is of 25 degrees centigrade. Now what will happen, that we will if we increase the mass, if we increase the mass in the tank, we will require more energy here. We will require more energy to conduct this process. Now we have a system in which we have 1.5 kg of water, and the system is piston standard assembly, and it is presently at 600 kilopascal and 400 degrees centigrade. It is cooled to a second state of 200 kilopascal and 250 degrees centigrade. It has been given in the statement that the pressure is linearly related to the volume. So when will be going to find the work done, then we will be geometrically looking into solving this problem, and we will be using this area of this trapezoid to find out the total amount of work that has been done by the system during this process. And this can be seen over here. So what we're gonna do is we the area of trapezoid is half of the anti-parallel lines that is perpendicular. This one, this line, into half of this perpendicular line, since it is perpendicular, into the longest length in parallel line. So this is exactly the same what is being done over here. We are multiplying it with the mass to kind of find the total work instead of the specific work. Again, the process is straightforward, and we have already discussed a number of problems, and this should not be a problem for you to solve this in complete detail. However, if you have any question, we will be discussing it in synchronous mode on the online lectures. Now, superheated refrigerant R134A at 20 degrees centigrade and 100 kilopascal is cooled in a piston cylinder assembly arrangement at a constant temperature to final two-phase stage at quality of 50%. The refrigerant mass is 3 kg, and during this process, total amount of 357 kilojoules of heat is being transferred from the system to ambience. Find the initial and final volumes and the necessary work that is required to conduct this process. So the process is straightforward. We know that the initial state is superheated, and its temperature is 20 degrees centigrade and 100 kilopascal. So we will go straight to the superheated tables of R134A and look for volume at 20 degrees centigrade and 100 kilopascal. Now we will come to know that the volume is this much, and we can multiply it with the 3 kg mass to find the total volume at the present state. Now, since we know that the total amount of heat extracted from the system is 357 kilojoules, we can use work energy principle, and since we know that the temperature remains the same during this process, that is to 20 degrees centigrade. Well, that's the common between two states, as we have known from the statement, they are at a constant temperature. And since we know that at the second state the quality is 50%, so we know that now we have to use saturated tables. We will straight go to saturated tables of R134A and find the internal energies, and use the equation U is equal to UF plus X UFG. We Now we have the value of X already given in the statement, so we can directly use it. We then use work energy principle and find the total amount of work that has been done. Now since it is a process in which the pressure varies, and we can see it from this, that our initial pressure was 100 degrees centigrade, and our final pressure is the pressure at 20 degree saturation pressure at 20 degrees centigrade, P set at 20 degrees centigrade. Pressure has been changed during this process, and this can be seen in this depiction in a PV diagram. Now we have a problem that a computer CPU chip consists of 50 gram silicon, 20 gram copper and 50 gram polyvinyl chloride. It heats from 15 degrees centigrade to 70 degrees centigrade as the computer is turned on. How much energy is required for this heating? You know that during this process the chip does not change its phase, it remains the solid. So we can use MCV delta T as our relation. But there's another catch over here that we have different materials, that is silicon, copper and polyvinyl chloride, with different amount of mass. They are combined to make the chip. Now if we had only one if we had only one material like silicon, then we will simply go to the tables and find the CV of silicon and we can use it. However, since there are three different temperatures, now we have to summarize and sum up the mass and CV of the respective product. So what we will be doing, that mass of silicon into the CV of silicon plus mass of copper into the CV of copper plus mass of PVC, polyvinyl chloride, into CV of PVC. So this is what is presented over here, and in the summation notation. So there's no you don't need to get worried about this summation. This is only the summation of product of mass and corresponding uh, specific constant specific heat at constant volume. So you can find all these specific heat CVs from the table at back of your textbook, and you can use this formulation to find the total amount of energy that is required by this system. Now a copper block of volume 1 liter is heat treated at 500 degrees centigrade and now cooled in a 2 liter oil bath initially at 20 degrees centigrade. Assuming no heat transfer with the surrounding, what is the final temperature? So we have a 1 liter volume of copper, and we heated it up to 500 degrees centigrade in any furnace, and then we put it in a oil bath of 200 liter, and we assume that there's no heat transfer to the surrounding. This is oil bath, and this is 1 liter copper in it. So, and this is oil. So there's we have assumed that there's a certain insulation, and we have restricted any kind of heat flowing to the surrounding out of this oil bath. So no heat escape. No, it escape. So now the total energy is conserved for the system, and we can use the work energy principle. First, we have to know that how much energy is contained in a 1 liter copper at 500 degrees centigrade. So we will use this equation to know that uh, how much energy is contained. So we will the exactly amount this amount of energy will be going to the oil that is being heated from 20 degrees centigrade to the further higher temperature using this copper. So this is the amount of energy that will be used by the oil to raise its temperature to maintain the energy balance. And during this process, we have assumed that the the oil does not vaporize or any kind of phase changes does not occur in the oil. So we can also use MCV delta T for the oil as well. Since we know that 200 liter of oil is being used, so we already know its volume, and we are gonna take certain densities as our baseline. For instance, we can take 800 kg per meter cube as a density, or in this case, our text book used 890 910 kgs of kilograms per meter cube density for the oil. So this amount of energy that is contained in a copper is going to balance energy in the oil, and they will come up in a thermal equilibrium at a temperature of at a common temperature. So we can assume that the final temperatures T2 for the copper and the oil is same. Only then the thermal equilibrium gonna establish, and we can find the we can use the thermodynamic equations and find the outcome, because thermodynamics only deals with the quasi-static or completely static cases for thermal equilibriums or quasi-thermal equilibriums. So therefore, this is assumed to be the same. It's also a common understanding, and then we can use this formulation that this amount of energy is being radiated or emitted from the copper block, and this amount of energy is being used by the oil to come up at a certain temperature, that is 20 degrees centigrade, 25 degrees centigrade, sorry. Now the question is, now we have a problem that because a hot water supply must also heat some pipe mass, and as it turns on, so it does not come out right way. Assuming 80 degrees centigrade liquid water at 100 kilopascal is cooled to 45 degrees centigrade as it heats for 15 kg of copper pipe from 20 degrees centigrade to 45 degrees centigrade. How much mass of water is needed? So again we have the same problem as in the last slide. Here we have water and copper, as it was copper and oil at in the previous example. So the problem is same, that now the fluid is at the elevated temperature and copper is being heated. In the previous slide it was the copper that was hot, and it is heating, it was heating oil in oil bath. So again the direction to solve the problem is same. The energy being lost from the water is being used by copper to heat itself. So it is the same problem. So the manner we should deal with it is the same. So I leave this problem to you to solve, as is already been solved in this slide. So if you have any question, we will be discussing it in the synchronous mode.